And we are back with the fourth segment of the GSMC basketball podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fourth segment, I'm going to be talking about Zach Edey already being a favorite to winning the Rookie of the Year after his recent Summer League performance. Now, I know I said I was supposed to bring up some stats on his performance, but for some reason, I can't find them. I don't know why I can't find the Summer League stats, but it's a little weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, and I just, have no idea where to find these stats. But, oh, wait a minute. Here we go. So, his stats for the last game that he played in, he had 14 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist, and was 7 of 12 from the field. Which, obviously, as a big man, and as a rookie big man, it's really not that bad. And this is, as unfortunate as it is to say, he is arguably in one of the weakest draft classes that the NBA has seen. Then again, we could be proven completely wrong, but this is supposed to be, compared to last year, obviously, compared to last year, this draft class is so much weaker because last year had Victor Wembanyama in the draft, and it's really difficult to sort of top that. But aside from that, Purdue star Zach Edey is among one of the most highly anticipated NBA debuts after a decorated college basketball career that resulted in back-to-back Player of the Year trophies. So he is a very competent center. He is also 7'4", but the big difference between him and Victor Wembanyama is his mobility. Zach Edey, while he is just as tall as Victor, he's not nearly as mobile as Victor. In fact, he seems a little bit more clunky. He moves a lot more like Yao Ming as opposed to moving like a guard like Victor can. And when you have somebody that's 7'4" that is able to move and be as mobile as Victor is, compared to having someone who isn't really as mobile as Victor, it could be seen as a huge downgrade. On top of that, being put on a team that has Ja Morant on the squad as well, I think that really affects the spacing of the Memphis Grizzlies because, Ja Morant, obviously, his strengths are within the paint. He is a ridiculous finisher around the basket. He's crazy athletic, and having a big 7-foot center on the roster, to compensate for Ja Morant and his height and, attacking in the paint, I don't really think that's ideal. Because, again, he's just going to attract more attention by standing under the block. It's just an easy rotation and an easier rotation for the center to make. And that's really, the big difference between him and Victor Wembanyama, his mobility and the ability to shoot the basketball. Now, that doesn't mean that Zach Edey was bad in college. He averaged 25 points, 12 rebounds, 2.2 blocks, and 2 assists per game. And that's really what the value is coming in from Zach Edey. He's going to be that rim protector type of player that can somewhat, operate in the pick and roll. And, to somewhat, by when I say somewhat, I mean because he's so tall and because he's his frame is wide, he will be really useful in a pick and roll, throwing lobs. It's just his mobility is just going to make him a little bit slow when cutting to the basket. That's my opinion on that. And that sort of it could be seen as a downside in the pick and roll because, he's going to start at the top of the key and then he's supposed to slowly walk down over to the painted area and catch the lob. But if he's slow, then the rotation defense is going to be there to stop him. However, his height compensates whoever decides to sort of be on the weak side. Now, he's probably going to have to sort of adjust his game to make it or allow him to be a playmaker, right? He's going to have to adjust his game so that way he can become a playmaker for the Memphis Grizzlies. And when the attention is attracted to him in the paint, he can make that extra pass and it would result in a wide open three. That's sort of the hope that I have. Now, like it's really different than how Shaq was playing. Like, I mean, when Shaq was operated in a pick and roll, the difference between him and Shaq is that Shaq was surprisingly really fast. Like, before he was before he sort of gained so much weight and became rather lazy, he was one of those players that was really, really fast. Like, really damn fast. For someone that's 7'1", you should see him move. Like, it is very, very scary the way that he moves. But aside from that, and his just, sheer dominance in the paint, that's sort of what made Shaq a difference maker when you compare it to every other center that was in the league. And just a reminder, Zach Edey, he was the number 9 pick in the draft. First took the floor when the Grizzlies played the Salt Lake City Summer League game against the Utah Jazz. So, he just seems rather slow. I also should note that he backed out of his commitment to play for Team Canada in the 2024 Paris Olympics, which was a tough decision for him. As he said, "I've made the difficult decision of pulling myself out of the process to compete in the spot for the Paris Olympics in 2024 with Canada. I have a duty now to properly prepare for all that is coming my way with being drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies. The work I put in this summer on my body and my game is critical for me to be the best version of myself." So let me know in the comments if you agree with this decision on Zach Edey deciding to work with the Memphis Grizzlies to sort of help him with the NBA season, or if you would have rather liked to see him in the Olympics, because I think it would have been a pretty good matchup to watch him compete against either like Rudy Gobert or Victor Wembanyama in the Olympics if they do end up matching up. So my overall opinions on Zach Edey, they're rather mixed, because while he does average some really good individual stats, he does have a history of not being able to win with Purdue. I mean, 2 years ago, he lost in the first round to a New Jersey team, I believe, or some random team that just shouldn't have been able to beat Purdue. But this recently, they were able to make it all the way to the finals before getting destroyed by UConn. And that's sort of like been the bugaboo of Zach Edey. I mean, just the fact that he's so tall, but at the same time, he's just really, really, really slow. It's... A lot of people like to call him like a glorified Boban Marjanovic, and if you guys know who Boban is, or is it, actually no, I said his last name wrong, I apologize for that, it's Boban Bogdanovic, that's what I meant to say, but Boban Bogdanovic, he is a really tall center, and did I get the name right? No, I didn't. These Janovic's are so difficult to pronounce, so Boban Marjanovic, I believe that is, yes, Marjanovic, that's who it is. I said it right the first time, and then I mixed it up with someone else who had the same first name but a completely different last name. I apologize for that. It's really difficult to track some of these players and their last names with since a lot of them end in Vich. Like, it's difficult to, like, there was a guy called Nikola Jovic who could be mistaken for Nikola Jokic, and Boban Marjanovic mistaken for Boban Bogdanovic, and all the other. It's really difficult. I'm trying. I apologize. But he is rather tall, and he does suffer the similar problems that Zach Edey is suffering, just being rather slow. So while he might be a great presence in the paint, in an era that sort of requires you to make super quick rotations to go ahead and guard the three-point line, it's not ideal. And that's sort of the reasons why Boban is considered a liability. While he is, a reliability in the paint, he is a liability outside of the paint. Same thing with Rudy Gobert being a liability outside of the paint. But let me know in the comments if you guys think that Zach Edey is going to be a clone to Boban, or if he's going to sort of exceed that expectation. Now, one of the things that I don't really like about how people are already calling him the Rookie of the Year is because we still haven't seen them play in the regular season. Again, it's the Summer League, and I feel like a lot of people, they like to jump the gun and on who is talented, who isn't talented, who deserves a spot, who doesn't deserve a spot, who deserves Rookie of the Year, this, that, and the other. Like, it's really early. It's too early to tell, especially since he's playing amongst other peers. It's too early to tell how he will fare against NBA veterans who have experience playing in the NBA and know how to counter a lot of the moves that he has. So again, let me know in the comments what you guys think, if he's going to be a clone to Boban or if he's going to be some other type of player that is going to bring a lot of value to the team. But aside from that, we are out of time for this fourth segment. So now I will go ahead and go to the fifth and final segment, which is talking about Jamal Murray, who is most likely going to sign an extension with the Denver Nuggets. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.